and beyond. What? They're clearly going to wait until the end of the movie to actually say the full catchphrase, so I might as well spend the beginning of my video to finish it. Readers, it has almost been an entire year since we first got word that Disney Pixar was expanding on the Toy Story IP by making an origin movie for Buzz Lightyear. Then, on October 28, 2021, the teaser trailer for the film dropped, and Disney Pixar's Lightyear became the name on everybody's lips. For better or for worse. I only say that because I know how the internet works by now. On one hand, yes, the trailer looks absolutely stunning. The details in Buzz's titular outfit, the cinematography, everything looks like what you'd imagine a movie that tells the origin of Buzz Lightyear would be like. It also meant that thanks to one scene in the trailer in particular, the memes would start a-coming. And oh, did they start a-coming. On the other hand, the release of the trailer left a lot of people who didn't know that this film was coming very confused. And while part of this was human error, a la misinterpretation of how the trailer was initially marketed by some media outlets, it still surprised me to see just how many people were debating not just the legitimacy of where the movie stood in comparison to the 4 Toy Story films, but didn't know how to properly interpret its existence thanks to the quote-unquote changes that were being made. So, while I definitely did my part to quiet the discourse on Twitter the day the trailer dropped, I realized, God damn it, this can be made into a video. So, if you'll allow me, let me be your guide to understanding exactly where the Disney Pixar's Lightyear movie stands in the universe of Toy Story. That is a sentence I thought I would never have to say out loud. It's like I stated before, readers. One of the main reasons for the communication regarding Lightyear is how some media outlets chose to market the trailer versus members of the general public not necessarily getting the gist of what they were going with. The thing about it is that the confusion isn't coming from the media outlets that aren't labeled reliable sources either, like We Got This Covered. And you know how I feel about We Got This Covered. They're coming from tweets from like Hollywood Reporter and Vanity Fair. Variety tweeted out the day the trailer launched that it introduces the real-life human astronaut that inspired the Buzz Lightyear toy line, resulting in over 1,000 quote retweets of people trying to make sense of what this means. Because despite putting the words real life in quotation in order to insinuate a different meaning of the phrase, people saw tweets like this, peeped the phrasing, and were like, wait, Buzz Lightyear actually exists in Toy Story? Like a real person? No, I'm not making this up. That's actually what happened the day the trailer dropped. People young and old, rich and poor, black and white, dog dads and cat dads alike all made their confusion known regarding the stance of whether or not there was a real Buzz Lightyear in the universe of Toy Story. Even prominent YouTubers were confused and thought that there was an actual astronaut in the Toy Story universe that the Buzz Lightyear toy was based on. Joe Cat, who you all may know as the YouTuber who created the Crap Guide to D&D series, was tweeting up a storm the day the trailer dropped, basically demanding answers regarding whether or not this was how the news was supposed to be taken. And I was watching him do it. Not because he does not know me and wouldn't take heed of my explanation of the events that had transpired because of such an obstacle, but because, despite my eagerness to inform the masses, there was, and is, a part of me that takes slight pleasure and watching one go mad with ignorance. Sorry about that, I went to the Vincent Price part of my brain. My apologies, you weren't supposed to see that. But yes, that actually happened. So if it happened to him, you can only imagine how many more people the misdirect affected. Fortunately, that didn't happen to me, because I knew better. And the reason why I knew better was because of two things. One, keeping up with the initial announcement that Pixar was working on the movie months before the trailer dropped. And two, the fact that the movie Toy Story 2 exists. So let's get this out the way now before I provide the proper context necessary to explain everything. There is no real Buzz Lightyear in the universe of Toy Story. In-universe, Buzz Lightyear is a fictional character and isn't inspired by an actual astronaut in-universe. We know this because during Disney Investor Day 2020, when it was revealed Pixar was working on a Lightyear solo movie, this was stated.
See, back when we created the very first Toy Story, we designed Buzz Lightyear with the idea that he was a toy based on some really cool character from an epic blockbuster film. Well, all these years later, we decided it's time to make that film.
Now, to be fair, while the entirety of DID 2020 was streamed online and made available to the public, the whole thing was about 3.5 hours long. And in the defense of people who didn't have immediate access to it, that information regarding the stance of Lightyear didn't drop until 2.5 hours into the overall presentation. Also, that articulation didn't necessarily translate to how it was initially promoted upon its reveal, especially from Buzz's new voice, Chris Evans, who said, and I quote, "This isn't Buzz Lightyear the toy. This is the origin story of the human Buzz Lightyear that the toy is based on." End quote. As I showed earlier, this made things even more confusing to some people when the actual trailer came out and media outlets started to promote it as the origin story for the real Buzz Lightyear. And while the majority of them decided to put the word real in quotation marks to A, try and minimize confusion, and B, participate in the whole Buzz Lightyear thinks he's real gimmick he's originally known for, it's clear especially from what I've seen, that not everybody got it. So, for everyone who's been affected by this and came across this video, hi there, my name's Laron. You remember Toy Story 2? Remember when Woody discovered there was an entire in-universe franchise dedicated to the persona his existence is based on? That he found out that there was a whole-ass television series based on said persona that humans in the universe of Toy Story would regularly watch back when people regularly whistled the theme song to the Andy Griffith Show? If you saw that back in the day, or recently, whatever, I don't know your life, and were able to understand that, then congratulations! You now know the mathematical equation. Lightyear is to Buzz, as Woody's Roundup is to Woody. And yes, you could make the same equation with the Buzz Lightyear of Star Command movie and TV show. A children's show that was created that may or may not have any ties to its live-action theatrical counterpart, like a lot of the ones we experienced growing up, and come to the same result. No, like seriously, try and properly tie together Jumanji the movie with Robin Williams and Jumanji the animated series. It's like, they actually finished the game in the movie. Why are they constantly going back to visit a still trapped Alan Parrish in the TV show? It makes no sense. But we watched it and we loved it and we didn't complain. Holy shit, that was the most boomer ass thing that ever came out of my mouth. Jesus Christ. What's actually funny about all of this is that this is kinda what Toy Story 3 was originally going to be about. Before deciding to prioritize on other projects back when Disney was just a partner, Toy Story 3's plot involved Buzz being recalled to Taiwan and the rest of the gang going after him to try and save him. Just like how Woody found out more about his in-universe persona he was based on, Buzz would do the same. And yes, that means they probably would have used the fact that all Buzz Lightyears think that they're the Buzz Lightyear when they're first turned on from the first movie as a plot thread to expand on this version of Toy Story 3, making it a proper movie trilogy. It also would have provided a vehicle to officially introduce the Toy-sonas of some of the other Star Command characters, like Miranova and Booster from the spin-off movie and Disney show, the same way Toy Story 2 introduced Jane and Bullseye. So if anything, instead of looking at this movie as the quote-unquote real in-universe version of Buzz, you know, like a wrong person, look at this, and even Star Command Real Talk, as the in-universe movie that people saw and anticipated after only having the toys at their disposal and an animated series based on said toys for so long, a la Transformers. Holy shit. Transformers is actually a very good example. Was a toy line before it was a cartoon, was made into a cartoon and had various takes on it before it was a live-action movie franchise. Buzz was supposed to meet a Transformers-like toy in the original script of Toy Story 3 during his recall if Disney couldn't get licensing from Hasbro. Yeah. That's a good analogy. Let's just stick with that analogy. Readers, I apologize if my explanation of the whole situation sounded like a disappointed parent who knows their child can do better than just a C+ in English class. It is never my intention to come across that way, because despite me loving high school English, that would be very hypocritical of me, especially since this day I do not know the difference between nouns, verbs, and adverbs. Yes, I'm a published author of fiction, why do you ask? Nevertheless, I hope that you forgive any condescending tones or passive aggressiveness I gave off during this explanation and came out of this a bit less flustered than you were beforehand. But, in the case you didn't understand a single word that I said, if Johnny has 5 apples! So with that being said, readers, your homework assignment for the day. Write in the comment section below if you're looking forward to seeing Lightyear. Or if you feel like sharing with the rest of the class, let me know if there's any other in-universe Toy Story shows or movies that you wouldn't mind watching. A Disney Plus exclusive Woody's Roundup would be pretty cool to watch is all I'm saying, especially now that they have a Monsters, Inc. sequel series on there. Whichever question you decide to answer, I'd love to know your thoughts. If you want to help financially support the channel, you can join my Patreon by clicking the card at the end of the video or in the link in the description down below, where you can also find a link to my merchandise store. Or if you prefer to give a one-time donation, you can find links to my PayPal and my Ko-fi account in the description box as well. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because I post new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and every other Friday. But until then, this is Readus 101. Class dismissed.